Welcome to Alpha Marketing, your go-to resource for unlocking the full potential of your small to medium-sized business. Hosted by Aaron Shishilla, CEO of Wolfpack Advising. Now, let's learn how to dominate your market.
Welcome back to the Marketing Alpha Podcast. And in today's podcast, we're talking about something that I think needs to be talked about in our industry, in home service industries, especially in 2025. And that's the question we get all the time: is SEO dead? Well, SEO has changed, but it's most certainly not dead. So we're going to break down exactly what's going on with SEO today, what happened with SEO before, and how you really need to navigate the Google search results going forward with your business, and some key considerations. So to kind of start, the real thing here is just that the search results have changed dramatically in the last year, 2 years, 3 years, especially in the last 5 years. The thing is it still works. It's just a lot more complicated. There's a lot more moving parts. Now, if you think about it, the first thing that changes is Google AI overviews. Those things are taking up more space now, and it's difficult to have traffic go to your blog for an informational or a keyword that's just a question, like how to cook pasta, right? People would normally click on a blog post and you could show advertisements or potentially get a conversion or have somebody sign up with your monthly subscription because they could just read about it. Same thing goes about home service-based businesses, like how do I do my own pest control? How long does a roof last in Florida? Different questions like that AI could just answer. So that's the first part, is we have the AI overviews section. The other thing that's a big impact to search results nowadays is Google Ads seems to be taking up more and more space. And there are other features within search results that are getting added in that push down the regular organic results. So if you were to think about this at the beginning, when Google just first came out, it was just a bunch of hyperlinks, right? Titles, descriptions, and that's all it was. Well, now in some searches, you might have the sponsored posts, you might have the AI overview, you might have a Google Maps section with some sponsored posts in there, you might have some people also ask section, and then after all of that stuff, after you've scrolled so much, then it actually is the regular Google organic results that people talk about when you're trying to rank for SEO purposes. So there's essentially just so much more content and stuff on the search results page that make it more difficult for you to appear at the top and probably get as many clicks as you were before. And not to mention all the changes going on with search results off of Google. So people are using applications like ChatGPT. They're using applications like Grok or Perplexity or Claude AI, or they're using applications such as DuckDuckGo that are taking a little bit more market share from Google than Google would probably care to admit. Now, there's one final thing here, which is overall, we're seeing more and more searches are now zero-click, meaning people are just not clicking. They're getting the information they exactly need from the search, and then they're moving on with their life, and they're not actually clicking over to your website or wherever you want to point them, whatever page. Now, this is all really good for consumers, and for businesses, it could be a little bit more complicated to navigate. So let's break down what still works, what you still need to be focusing on, and we'll break down at the end why it's still worth it. So the first thing is still just building authority. Authority in your space, authority online, showing that you are a relevant, authoritative business for your individual niche. Earning backlinks still works. Not spammy junk links, right? I'm talking about real links, real connections with communities and people within your niche. Those really work in terms of building your authority online. Technical SEO still matters, especially mobile responsiveness, especially site speed, especially your security certificate, your SSL. Making sure your website's secure. Core Web Vitals, it was a new algorithm update that happened in 2021, I believe, which has essentially just site speed and site responsiveness, making sure that things aren't moving while loading things are loading quickly. So those technical SEO stuff still matter as well. The other thing that is becoming more and more prominent is long tail keywords. So not trying to rank for, home service provider Orlando, but getting into more niche keywords or niche search topics and focusing on longer and longer tail informational keywords. And of course, if you're a local business, which majority of you listening are, it's the same stuff of focusing on citations, focusing on reviews, optimizing your Google business profile, all of those standard things that you would focus on if you're a local business. So those are all the things that still work. Now, some of the things that I want to highlight don't work anymore or just is not going to be worth your time if you're thinking about getting into SEO. And the first one is if you're trying to think that this SEO game is can be quick, it's not. I'm finding that it's becoming like a longer and longer term game. If you want leads fast, if you just want more business, head to the advertising route. That's going to bring in leads. That's going to start bringing in business for you or making your brand more predominant very quickly. Now, if you want to build true authority and business authority, you need to have an SEO strategy. It's just going to take a while. Usually when companies sign up with us, we start seeing progress and changes after 3 months. At 6 months to a year is when we start seeing the significant progress that we sought out for. So if you're not going to be invested for 6 months or more, don't worry about SEO. And especially if you're like in a business in a situation where you're like, hey, I need leads, I need business, you should be focusing on doing other strategies such as advertising or some grassroots marketing tactics rather than focusing on expensive search engine optimization. The other things, if you're not ready to create content, if you're not ready to try and build local networks and get citations that way or backlinks that way, if you're not willing to fix your site and focus on conversion rate optimization, then SEO isn't for you either. You need to be able to invest in a really solid web design so that way you have solid conversion rates on page. For example, if you're an e-commerce store and you don't have like good product reviews, good product images, things aren't formatted aesthetically nice, right? Compared to your competitors in your particular niche, you're going to be going up against some very tough competition, especially in e-commerce world, if your site isn't designed nicely and doesn't have a good conversion rate optimization. The same thing goes for home service providers is check out your competition and compare your site against theirs to see how your conversion rate or design might stack up. If you're not willing to invest in the web design, don't invest in the SEO. The SEO is not going to fix a site that's poorly designed. The last point that I'll make here is just if your industry is fairly overly saturated and your business has no unique angle or no unique value that you can show, you're probably just going to spend a ton of time and effort into SEO with not really getting what you sought out for. So make sure that when you're going into an SEO strategy, you're embedding your own individual brand strategy and marketing strategy and brand positioning and brand voice. All of those things matter in terms of your SEO strategy. And if you're like, hey, I have no idea what that means, think about it, do some searches about it. I'm sure we have tons of blogs on our website so you can read up on brand positioning, brand voice, all those things that are kind of like at the beginning of your business, the beginning stages that you should be thinking about, but maybe a lot of small business owners don't think about when they first start their business. They kind of just say, hey, I'm going to start a home service business, or I'm going to start a cafe, I'm going to start this particular business without thinking about the current market and the current positioning and where they could position themselves as a unique value or niche. All right. Let's head over to the next section, which is talking about when SEO is absolutely worth it. So, on the contrary, total opposite, when you're in a niche with a clear search demand, you know that SEO is 100% worth it. Easy way to find out this is just start Googling for your particular niche. If you start Googling for your particular niche and there's tons of search results, there's other competitors in there, or you could do things like looking on SEMrush. You can do things if you're running Google Ads. Google Ads has its keyword planner within there, so you can look at search volumes for keywords relevant to your particular business. If you know that you're playing the long game and you can afford the monthly payment of SEO and working with a professional agency, then you know SEO is going to be worth it for you. Especially if you're focused on long-term compounding results rather than, hey, I need a business here within the first 3 to 6 months. You want to focus on the long-term compound. Especially too, you want to know, or you should know SEO is totally worth it when you pair other marketing strategies, such as you're pairing it with your advertising strategy, you're pairing it with email, social media, any particular partnerships, you're pairing it with content writing, you're pairing it with just any other type of marketing strategy. It's going to tenfold because people might hear from you on social media and then do a Google search and then see you again from SEO strategy, which establishes even more trust. It is definitely more expensive, obviously, because you're investing in 2 different strategies, but the amount of trust that you could build within that is a lot more than somebody that just sees you on Google or just sees you on social media. Now, the last point I want to make here is when SEO is absolutely worth it is when you want to lower cost per lead over time and probably get people that are going to be more trusting of your business. At first, a lot of people, they might click on advertisements or see brands on whatever type of platform, right? But those are typically not people that are trusting of your individual brand. But if you can rank highly for key terms for your particular industry or niche, then you can essentially lower your cost per lead over time significantly because you're not paying for anything, right? You're not paying for those expensive keywords, but those leads that are coming in are going to be the most trusting and best leads you've ever had because those are the type of people that are like, hey, I know this company is going to be the best because they're ranking at the top of search results. And that's what you kind of need to think about when you're looking at SEO is, are you truly the best in your market? Are you truly the best and deserve the number 1 position? Because honestly, that's what Google's looking for. As an SEO agency, as a marketing agency, we can do everything we can. We can do everything right. But if you aren't doing your end of the business, you're not going to magically rank number 1 for every single keyword that you want to rank for. It's just not possible. Google doesn't want you to essentially gain the algorithm to show number 1 if you're not the best for that particular keyword. All right. SEO in the bigger picture, one of the things that we try to focus on when we're bringing on potential clients or clients in general and talking about them, if we want fast results, we run ads. If we want to focus on long-term visibility and compounding results, we focus on SEO. If we want to focus on retaining and nurturing and upselling and prospecting, we focus on email, marketing automation, SMS, even phone calls, general CRM activities. SEO is part of that pipeline. SEO plays a part of your whole marketing strategy. So don't think of SEO as a fix. I think there's a lot of marketing agencies out there and a lot of people that talk about SEO like it's this golden egg that's going to magically resolve your business and you're going to get tons of leads. It doesn't work that way. It's one piece of the puzzle that you should be doing if you can, one, afford it and do it professionally, but 2, if you're going to stick to it long term and you're going to do all the other things that matter as well. Time to end with the brutal truth here. SEO, as I've kind of talked about, isn't dead. Lazy SEO or bad SEO is dead. If you're going to think you're going to try to rank number 1, stuff a bunch of keywords, change a bunch of stuff, and magically rank number 1, it's not going to work. That part of SEO is now dead. It is more about your entire holistic strategy as a business and truly becoming the number 1 for your particular niche, having a unique brand proposition, and showing that through your website to compound it over time and doing everything right along the way so that way you can naturally rank. And when you do naturally rank, I'm telling you, it's going to be the best thing for your individual business because these people are going to know and trust you a whole lot more than they were to come from any other type of funnel. All right, if you're wondering for your particular business if SEO is the right move for you, you can simply leave a comment on this podcast, reach out to us. I'm happy to take a look at your website or have somebody on our team take a look at your website, kind of give you advice about what you should be doing or if it should be a focus for you. There's going to be a lot of small businesses out there listening to this, and we want to be brutally honest here as a marketing agency to be your partner and let you understand what marketing strategies are probably going to be best for you. Anyway, until next time, take care.
Thank you for listening to Alpha Marketing. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other business owners and marketers. Your support enables us to continue bringing you actionable advice and the tools you need to thrive. Join us next time for more insights with Aaron Shishilla, and keep striving to be the alpha in your market.